How? This is
Hello.
amazing. It's amazing. Welcome everyone to our first inaugural Divine Destination Collection Conscious Conversation Call. Welcome. Oh, and it's so great to see. I'm seeing Nancy and Thea and all of these wonderful people. Oh, it's great. Does everybody, first of all, have their beverage of choice next to them, ready to go? Okay.
No.
And I just want to say we are so grateful that you are all here and that you're coming on this journey with us tonight. I love seeing that there are people all across Toronto, that there are people from other parts of Canada. Hi, Helen.
Hi, Allison. Hi, Helen. Hello.
People from around the world, right? New York. I'm waiting for England to come in any minute now. So most of you are familiar with either Deb and I from Divine or Catherine and Susan from Conversations with Spirit. And there are some people who aren't familiar with any of us. So I'm Allison Frame, and this is, wait, give a big wave, Deb Niven. We're with the Divine Destination Collection. And then Catherine and Susan, give a wave, ladies, are with Conversation with Spirit. So again, thank you. Before we get on the call, I wanted to go over a few of the sort of technical details of Zoom. First of all, we're going to be recording this call because there are a few people who couldn't be here tonight. And we're going to put it up on our YouTube and Vimeo channels as well as our website. And Catherine and Susan are going to do the same on Conversations with Spirits platforms as well. So I want to kind of let you know that everybody's been muted as they come on to avoid any sort of feedback. And if you would like to get our attention or—
Hi, Allison, am I on?
Yes, you are, Anna.
Oh, okay, good. Hi.
Hi.
So as I was saying, everybody's going to be muted when they're on the call. So if you need to get our attention, I'm going to ask you to click on the bottom center of your screen. You'll see participants. So click on that, and they should appear on the right-hand side of your screen. And then also, if you want to click on the chat window, that will also pop up so that you can type us a message. Or if you look in the center, it says raise hand. That will let us know that you have something to say or want to get in touch with us. And you know what, if all else fails, just wave madly and we'll unmute you. Oh my goodness, Helen and Carol, and it's lovely to see all these wonderful people. Fear and anxiety have been rampant over the last little while in our intense times, right? And whether it's about the fear of illness or the fear of finances or the economy or even what the world's going to look like moving forward. And so we decided to put this together so that we can assuage a bit of that. And I know that I've sent out the purpose of the call, but I want to kind of reiterate what that is. And I might get a little bit clamped, so bear with me. So the purpose of this call is to create a space of stillness and peace. And we're going to start that with a brief meditation. And then we want to be able to dissolve fear and help make sense of the human drama that's currently going on. To redefine what connection means among people living in today's world. To bring forth information about what's going on behind the scenes. To expand our perspective on how recent events change the way we view travel today, and how to adjust our expectations of travel in the future. So I just want everybody to kind of let that sink in. It's a lot, quite heavy. And before I hand it over to my partner in crime and business, I want to thank you again for taking the time to join us on this journey. So, Deb, I'm going to go over to you. And if you want to sort of go over how recent events have impacted the travel industry and Divine, and thoughts of what travel might look like in the future.
So, hi everybody. I'm so happy that you could join us here. And as you know, as we said in our reminder email, one of the most important things that we want to do is, because we can't connect physically, and our connection with you guys means so much. We really enjoy not only traveling with you, but having wine and cheese with you at Verity. So, we are trying to recreate the best we can that feeling. There you are in the luxury and comfort of your own home. And we're grateful that you're joining us for this adventure on this journey, on this call. So there I've done it. I've used the tagline of the Divine Destination Collection, where luxury, spirituality, and adventure meet. And so recently, obviously, all know that I also am a co-owner in Winford, which is a business that provides corporate incentive travel and meetings to large corporations. And we had 26 programs scheduled to travel between March and June, and every single one of them have canceled, obviously. The travel industry, planes are grounded and hotels are closed and restaurants are closed, and the travel industry is shut down. The only travel that is allowed from a federal legal point of view is business travel. Non-essential travel is not allowed. So thankfully, because it's not a prudent time to travel. So we have also canceled our trip to France. And hope to postpone it at another time. But we realized before we could even talk about what do we do now, where do we go next, as we said in our email, that the edict to stay inside really is a metaphor for we need to go inside our own individual selves and be there for a little while, and through this conscious conversation and our special guests, get a little more enlightened around what's really going on, and open up that space to think about what future travel might look like. And as we said in our invite, we do want to get some feedback from all of you on that. So yeah, it's a tough time. I don't need to tell you guys that. Travel is they call it non-essential, but yet we know, Allison and I know, it's an essential part of life. If you can get yourself to another culture and really see that culture and experience that culture and learn and leave that place that you have visited maybe a little better than it was before you got there. And as Allison always says, travel transforms the traveler. You will be changed. This is something that can never leave our human experience, and yet we're challenged now. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us on the call and giving us your attention. So pour your warm cup of tea or your favorite vintage, as I have done, no surprise, and sit back and relax as we invite Allison now, I think, is going to introduce our very special guests and colleagues, Catherine and Susan.
Thanks, Deb. I have something else that I would like to add. I know people are saying, what is that going to look like? What is travel going to look like in the future? We're going, oh, I don't know. As Deb said, we believe that it is inherently still extremely relevant, and perhaps the travel world's going to change, in that my hope is that it's going to be more mindful, that there is now going to be more of an opportunity to connect with cultures and to share our humanity and humanness. That's kind of my hope for travel moving forward. And it will all be made clear, as I like to say. So to introduce Catherine and Susan, both Deb and I have had a lovely opportunity to work with both of these women to incredibly powerful outcomes. Now, I've been racking my brain as to, okay, how do I describe what exactly it is they do or what their unique abilities are? So instead of thrashing around, I thought I'm just going to pass it over to both of them, to Catherine, I guess, to start, so that they can tell you in their own words what it is they do and what their unique abilities are. So Catherine Pisana, over to you.
Thank you, Allison and Deb, and welcome to everyone. This is a very, very special virtual space. And what makes it all the more divine is that Susan is very well gifted in holding space, in creating space for very sacred events to take place that all center around connection with oneself, one's soul, leading to spirit, and ultimately to source. Susan's abilities to create space extend out into quantum architecture, healing, and understanding how to calibrate the energy within a group or for even simply one individual so that the best, highest outcome can be cultivated while at the same time doing no harm. And I am more of what you might coin an esoteric philosopher. And both of us speak to the metaphysics of being spiritual beings, having this wacky human experience and helping people remember that it's not the other way around. This world, to a very great degree, is designed to help us forget that we are spirit in body. And we are here very often engaged in conversation to help people remember that they are not simply human beings having the occasional spiritual experience and then going back to their busy day-to-day lives. It's very much the opposite. So that's a little bit of what we are individually, and together I suppose you can call us spiritual life coaches. Susan, do you want to add anything else to that?
No, that was good.
If you guys have any questions, you're most welcome to type in the chat window. And not to keep people excluded, there are 3 people who are not using their videos, which is totally fine, but only the ones that are using a video are showing up in the view that you see on the screen. All right, Allison.
All right, so Susan, I'm wondering if you can explain a little bit about the meditation that you're going to lead us in, and then lead us.
Absolutely. So there's a point on the body called the upper fourth. And the upper fourth is an energetic portal. And it is in line with the thymus gland. And the thymus gland comes from the Greek thumos, which means spiritness. And it's the upper quadrant of the heart. So the space between the chest, they are what is called nadis, and it connects to the upper heart. So if you were to place your left hand in the middle of your chest, midway between the heart and the throat, so it's the sternum area, you are touching the upper fourth. And you do it automatically. You say, people talk and they gesticulate and they say, oh, I did that, and they tap that point. That's the point I'm talking about. So if everybody is willing to put their left hand there, gently hold it there. And I invite you to close your eyes if you wish. You do not have to. And I invite you to follow the presence of your breath. And when you allow the presence of your breath to be there, you allow yourself to enter into the inner sanctuary of your being. And as your home is now your sanctuary, this is your inner sanctuary, where you are activating your inner home and remembering that you are spirit in embodiment. Any thoughts about your day, any thoughts about the news, I want you to take back your power, which is innate in all of us. And through the breath, as you breathe and are breathed all at the same time, you allow yourself to be still, to be love, to be one. As you hold that space, breathing in and breathing out, any thoughts that show up, allow them to just go. Don't follow them. Go back to your breath. And allow the peace and quiet that is in the stillness, in the presence, in the present now. Allow that to influence the subatomic particles of your being, of your physical state, of your emotional state, of your spiritual state. Allow there to be unity and calmness. So let it be. When you are ready, you can open your eyes, come back into the space where you are sitting.
Thank you, Susan. That was great. So now I'm going to turn it over to Catherine, who can maybe give us a little context to what the expletive is going on.
We can swear here. That's fine. What's going on? Okay, I can do that. Let's start off by saying that this is but one perspective that I will share with you. And there may be things that I say that you don't like. There may be things that I say that sound so true you have a physical reaction to hearing them. And then anything in between. Here are some things that I'll say about what's happening. This was a planned event. And what I mean by that is there aren't necessarily people or aliens that I'm talking about that plan this. I'm saying in the cosmic history of Gaia, planet Earth, this was in the cards. Why is that important to highlight? It indicates that we are fully equipped to address, handle, deal, move through, come out of this experience together. This is not the first time it's happened. Although it's very challenging for us to remember when it happened before, unless you are an avid historian or you remember past lives. There is one perspective that says that civilizations embodied on the planet at any given time are participating in a cycle of evolution. So if you imagine a clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6, and 9. 12 o'clock represents the epitome of the height of the Golden Age. The Golden Age is a time when the planet was not fully in form like we're used to it now, where now it is solid. You can feel the earth in your hands. You can hold a rock. You can hug a tree. At the height of the Golden Age, the frequency of the planet and all inhabitants on it is so high that things become somewhat formless. They somewhat represent light, misty, cloudy, technicolored auras. And it is in those forms that in the Golden Age, we thrived on the planet. And at that stage, we fully remembered why we were here. We fully remembered the infinite nature of our being as spirit. And we existed in a loving state of unconditional cooperation, non-competition to serve the highest good, to reflect that which is truly unrefracted and aligned with Source or God on a planet of experience. However, 3 o'clock comes around, and the time between 12 and 3 represents something called Silver Age. And that's when things became a little bit wonky. With form came choice to perhaps allow ego to have a say. It gave us the opportunity for thoughts to be cultivated through the mind. And so we began using those tools a little bit. But when we use those tools, it becomes a little bit challenging to stay aligned with spirit. Because then we have aspects of us that are perhaps a little bit more confused. More confusion comes when we go from 3 to 6. And in that period of the evolutionary or devolving cycle of civilization on a planet like Earth, we begin to touch upon the Bronze Age. Not only here do we have the mind and the ego that are creating a certain level of turmoil or discontent within our own individual being, but we also start to combat and fight with one another and create conflict externally that reflects the confusion and the conflict within. Neither of these or none of these stages in civilization's evolution or de-evolution are good or bad. They simply have very specific characteristics and serve very specific purposes. Ultimately, those purposes represent the opportunity to have experience. And through experience, it is our gift to ourselves to be able to remember more of that which we are, which is the whole and complete expression of Source, from whence we come. Then the lowest point on this evolutionary scale between 6 and 9 comes with the Iron Age, and that's where we have fully formed dense reality like the one we have now. We have people who have completely forgotten what spirit is. Everyone is very much fully in the body. The ego is ruling the show most of the time. We have weapons, we have wars, we have territorialism, we have things that only humans can somehow create. All that is spirit is forgotten. And it gets so bad in the Iron Age that eventually we shift back into silver, and we shift back into, well, bronze and silver, and then we get into a stage again where between 9 and 12, we are returning back to what will hopefully lead us into the height of the golden age again. So, why am I saying these things? Because at this moment, I'm going to say that we as a civilization, the one that is currently inhabiting the planet in this reality, are somewhere around 11:45. But that doesn't mean that we have crossed that threshold into the golden age yet. It means that this is kind of like the last dark before dawn. Is that what the expression? Where it's like the worst and we're being challenged the most and we're the most tired and the most weary and we just want something good to happen. The thing is, though, that we have to remember, and this is where responsibility, accountability, and the onus is fully placed on each individual one of us. We have to remember that we are far beyond the human experience. And with that remembering, we have the power within us to fully shift out of this last stage before the golden age can once again come. So this is one of those catalytic events on the planet that you can see as an absolutely horrific experience to be alive to witness, or a deep, divine experience with front row seats to one of the most important times on the planet it has ever experienced. So that's kind of what we're doing right now, living in this reality. But that's just one perspective. And I'll own it. I'll say that's my perspective. How does that feel to all of you? If anyone wants to talk or share their perspective, they're most welcome to put their hand up by clicking. You can click on the little hand or a yes, it doesn't matter. I can unmute you then.
Or wave.
Or wave. If there's anyone that wants to say anything. And in the meantime, what about the three other panelists? Susan, Allison, Deb. How does that feel for you? Because I haven't shown that picture to you before, so this is all fresh.
Can we speak? Are we unmuted?
Can.
Yes.
So for me, I'm following along, listening to your voice with full openness and moments of trepidation. But I feel that, and it's a very difficult discussion, but I want to be respectful of, and I know you are, Catherine, because I know you have cautioned us all to stay inside, follow the protocol, do what they're asking you to do to stay safe. So I want to be respectful of the reality around this infectious pandemic. And I also believe 100% in what you're saying, that this is a journey we need to traverse to reach a higher consciousness. I think that's what's happening. We're transitioning into a higher consciousness. So I just like you to say a little bit more about that, because, on Friday the 13th, when things were melting down, you were very, don't travel, do not leave your house. You were very prescriptive in a good way about what we need to do to move through this time. So I would just like to hear more about that.
Okay, so the concept of staying in your homes, the concept of isolating or of quarantining or incubating, whatever perspective that you take, is a very important one. And it's kind of a slap in the face to humanity. Literally, yes, we're being told go inside and stay there. But what are we really being told between the lines? There are a number of messages, one of which is, this is an invitation for all of us to go deep within ourselves. That doesn't necessarily sound exciting if most of our lives have been full of busyness to avoid facing ourselves. So those that have done work on themselves, cleared traumas, had healing experiences, opened themselves up to what is far beyond what the mind can conceive, are probably not having too hard a time right now. On the other hand, those who have been repelled by the process of stillness, facing their reflection in the mirror, feeling those uncomfortable things that want to bubble up to the surface to be released, but no, we can't feel those because they're much too much. Maybe later. It's later. It's now. It's the opportunity for us to all take full 100% ownership of the role we play in our life, in this journey, on this planet today. And some people would say that this catastrophic pandemonium that the world is experiencing right now will last as long as it takes for us to do just that. Go within, face ourselves, take an honest look at what parts of ourselves we want to take into the next chapter of our lives. And that's, yes, hold on. Let me find you. I'm going to unmute, although I don't see your name. So if you can introduce yourself. Go ahead.
My name is Deb.
Hi, Deb.
Hi. I just wanted to say that one of the most difficult things that I'm finding that others are having, some of my friends, my family, the difficult task is acceptance. And so you just struck a chord with me when you said people who have looked inwardly and done the work to know themselves, to be, come to terms with challenges in their life, their lives. I think that this is a difficult time, and probably and acceptance is a big word for this particular time. But I think that that's the biggest problem right now, is acceptance for the reality that we're in.
Acceptance is a fascinating dynamic, and I'm going to keep you unmuted in case you want to chat about this a little bit more in this discourse. But to be able to accept anything, we have to know what we're accepting. So that's a very interesting exercise for us to do individually on our own. Are we accepting what the media is telling us? Are we accepting the tailspin of devastation that we're feeling chemically in our body through the emotions that are based in fear that we are fueling in our reality? Are we accepting that we may have to be indoors and devoid of any social contact for months? Are we accepting stagnation? All of these are very real considerations. Or, on the other side of the spectrum, are we accepting our role in all of this? Are we accepting that we are far more than the physical body? Are we accepting that we actually have power to shift this momentum in a space that is far beyond our dreams? Are we accepting the role that we're here to play? So many things we could be accepting. So many things we could be embracing and surrendering.
Are we accepting the opportunity that's showing up?
And can we even consider it an opportunity, or is that deeply insulting
I'm
and
saying,
off this call, right?
yeah, yeah.
Thank you for that. I'm going to go to Mary. Mary, you are unmuted.
So this kind of piggybacks on the last woman's question about acceptance, but I'm noticing that there's a lot of anger out there. Like, for example, today I went into the grocery store and a man had just used the phone booth, and this woman, you know, berated him for not keeping it clean or something. And he started yelling at her. And I just thought, so I know we have a part in that. How do we stop this anger that's all around us from all these people that are just so enraged and they just want to attack somebody verbally?
Susan, totally yours. Yeah.
How did it make you feel when you saw that? Let's start with that first.
I wanted to go and talk to the man and calm him down and just go, it's going to be okay. And his comment was, you know, I don't have a phone and this is the only access to a phone that I have. And he just started going on. And I just wanted to say, just chill, buddy. But then I thought I would probably enrage him by doing that. So
Right. Yeah.
when I see those kind of people, I just sort of leave them alone and I try to just sort of send them blessings, but I feel like I need to do more with, and I don't know how to help them. It's like,
Well, the best way to help them is for you to remain calm.
okay.
And you've heard of the thing called the butterfly effect.
Yes, yes.
If you remain calm, you allow that calmness to emanate from you. Now, the problem is people at the moment are placing judgment on other people. When this man is making a phone call, which he has the right to do, other people think, well, what's the matter with him? Why does he have to make a phone call? It's not their right to judge. And the moment we judge other people, we are pointing one finger at them and 3 fingers are pointing back at you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. And just to kind of sort of comment on that, I noticed something on Facebook. Somebody had posted about this man who took this tape off around this playground and they were videotaping it. And then as the confrontation went on and the man turned back to look at the people and said, what are you doing? What's your problem? Then they both got into this verbal banter and they're both yelling at each other. And I'm going, the man videotaping it, who's very well-meaning, was just as guilty as the man who had taken the tape off. Like, oh my God.
And you're right. I mean, the problem is that there's going to be this conflict that people are judging other people and in their fear to keep everybody safe and keep themselves safe. And they are listening, obviously, to the law, and we should follow the law. Absolutely. The law of the land, whatever that law is, we should follow it. And not, what's the word I want? Accelerate the rate of fear and anxiety out there by participating in it.
But is there something else we can do other than just staying calm so that that's providing role modeling? Like, what else can we, I just
what would you like to do if you want to get into a back and forth with somebody who is in a state of anxiety?
No, I don't want to get into that. But
they won't hear you.
I want to help them somehow, like just kind of with sort of send them some kind of intuitive, you know, love or something. I don't know, something just to help them.
So you can, if you are a witness to this, if you are out and in the park or wherever you are in the grocery store and you are a witness to this, if you can go deep into yourself and emanate, I know it doesn't sound like you're doing much, but you actually are. When you can hold space for somebody else.
Okay.
It's the holding of the space that can create enormous power. So if you put your hand on the upper fourth, like I showed you, like you did in the meditation, if you just gently tapped it while you're listening to people be very anxious and trying to control situations which they actually cannot control. The only thing you can control is yourself and how you respond. You cannot control somebody else.
No, I realize that. I just feel like I'm not doing enough to help these
people. But you can. You can do enough
Okay.
by simply being
Doing that, okay.
stillness. It has an enormous power. I remember I was at a meeting actually at Verity, and it wasn't for me. And I was standing there holding space for the person who was holding the meeting, standing by myself. And somebody came up to me and said, "Oh, I don't want you to be alone. So I've coming to say hello to you." and I said, "That's very kind of you, but I'm actually not alone." And I'm holding, she was drawn to come and talk to me. And I said, "I'm actually not alone. I'm very much here. And I'm holding space for the whole room."
Right.
And she started to cry. It can be that powerful, is what I'm trying to say. So when you initiate it in yourself, when you are able to hold space for yourself and then your family, then as you go for a walk, hold space for the space around the space. Practice that.
I love that. That is awesome. I'm just so fired up now. It's like,
You're ready
yes,
to do it.
I am.
The magical trick to that is that you can't tap into the power of it if you're doing it with any kind of expectation or condition or attachment to the outcome.
Yeah.
Allison, do you want to touch that? Yeah.
Thank you.
It just, I mean, just as you were saying that, I went, right, because our motivation is everything,
Yeah.
right? So if the motivation is to get somebody to change or be or do or should or could or would, we're doomed. It has to be a pure sort of, not sort of, a pure motivation without any expectation, right? And that's, I know for me personally, that's a huge learning. It's a huge learning.
And it's ultimately simply a remembering that the divinity within us is like the source of power from which we emanate. And that divinity is not judgmental. It's not saying that guy needs a hug. You know, it's not saying I need to do more because I feel like I'm not giving enough. That's only the initial trigger to do more. But it's so important to be able to come from that space of love, unconditional love, to be able to give to other people.
It's interesting that you say that because last week I was delivering groceries as a volunteer, like to people that had purchased it and leaving it on their porches. And as I'm driving up to some of the houses, I'm going, well, this is a pretty nice house. This is a pretty nice car. Like, what would they need groceries for? And then I kind of caught myself and went, whoa, you have no idea what's going on in their life. Back off. And then one lady, I called her because she hadn't picked up the groceries that I had rang the doorbell and left them on the porch, and she hadn't picked them up. So I called her and said, I just noticed the groceries are still on your porch. And she says, oh yes, I tried to get to the door, but I couldn't get there before you had left. And she says, I'm disabled. Is there any way you could put it inside the door? And I thought, whoa, that was such a huge wake up call for me. Like, you know, here was this big fancy house with this beautiful car. And I thought, who knew? Like, who knew that that kind of stuff was happening? So I'm learning so much as I'm working through this. But anyway, I won't take any more of your time. Sorry. But.
No, not at all. That was really valuable. Thea, we're going to go to you, Thea, but there's one thing I want to say to you, Mary. There's a reason why you're on this call with Susan. The yearning within you that you can do more, and you're trying to send some sort of an intention of love, but you're not quite figuring out what that is yet. It's holding space. And
Okay.
Susan doesn't go to the grocery store for food. She goes there to hold space. Food is like a byproduct. So it's important to be able to know that you can do that. So later on, if you have questions for Susan on how to hold space, there are some metaphysical techniques that you can use to very quickly tap into that power within you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.
All right, so let's go to you, Thea.
Hi, let me unmute. Oh, can you hear me?
You
Yes.
can.
Oh, okay. I'm glad that I've been on mute because I live in New York City and I'm on 96th Street. I'm 2 blocks in both directions from hospitals. So I don't know, thank you, Allison, for inviting me because she's been we've had chats this week and there is this constant there is the constant movement of sort of, I feel like I'm at the ground zero and, you know, the helicopters are up above today. So it is, and I have big windows and I look out them and I see people going into, you know, being taken to the hospital because I'm in a low ground. But I feel this is my vigil to participate and watch the horrific, but I feel like I'm at the core, like I feel like I'm at the core. And although I can't be still because my apartment, I'm right on the street, it's that constant humming. But it's been, when we've talked about quiet and I was trying to breathe into your meditation and I was trying to block out all
the noise.
the
Yeah.
havoc.
Yeah.
And I'm playing, I think of this as my unique blessing because it is so ever present and vivid of the horror, but this whole losing of life. And I feel like I'm at that wet market in China where all this began too. And so I'm trying to, I don't want to be selfish and tuck away from this, but there's this sort of odd, I feel like I'm in two places.
Mhm.
One inside here, but definitely right outside my window, there's very much another. So how, I don't know if I need help to reconcile it, but it's sort of a kind of a unique place I'm in, and I want to see its blessing or see its reason, or I want it to make a difference because I'm here and my son is here, and you know, this is our place at the moment. So
I understand. My daughter lives in New York City, so I understand exactly
Yeah.
how challenging it can be. I
Yeah.
get it. What you can do is remember from you as spirit that as you are in embodiment, you can allow stillness to be there, even if there is not stillness outside. Stillness is within. It is a sanctuary within your being. It's a sanctuary actually that is in the present moment. It is always there. But because there is so much noise around, you actually can't hear it. And I know it sounds odd to say, how do you hear stillness? But you are hearing with different ears, not your physical state.
Okay.
You are hearing it through the portal of the upper fourth. If you place your hand there, you just gently hold it there and allow yourself to breathe in, to breathe out. Very nice. You're creating an energetic space for you. So when you look at you do that for one second, one breath, and then look out your window and you hold space for what is going on outside. Yes, take a breath. Without judgment, without expectation, but by intention alone, by you acknowledging, not trying to control, not trying to change, by allowing that state to be there. If you can become expansive, you must remember, in case you don't know, that our natural state is one of expansion. The moment you feel any kind of contraction, you're going to feel it in your physical body. In every etheric body, you're going to feel it, right? But when you can allow yourself to allow that contraction, so if you hear that noise and it's jarring, right? And you go, oh, just allow it to be there, acknowledge it, and watch it release. Because the natural state of the universe is one of expansion, it will have to expand eventually. So you can hold the contraction for New York. Yes, it's a contracted state at the moment, literally a state, New York State, New York City, right? It's contracted because there's so much going on. If you allow that contraction, it'll build, and it is building, and it is building. And the more people who are tested, and it's building, and it's building, and it's building, it will release. Remembering that the number of people who are being tested, and therefore the numbers go up, that's why the numbers are going up.
Yes.
It's not because they just found out today that they had it. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people already have it. They just haven't been tested.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's heartbreaking that people are dying. But hold that space. Hold that space in expansion, which doesn't make any sense to the mind. The mind goes, what? What are you saying? That's rubbish. That's nonsense. That doesn't work. It does work because spirit is in control. Spirit is cause. You get to be cause over everything, how you feel, how you be in each moment. And when the anxiety starts to come in, and I'm sure it does, take a breath. Put your hand on the upper fourth. Hold it. On our website, and I know Alison has sent it to you, there's a free meditation on the upper fourth. Download it. Do it every day. 7 minutes. It's really easy to do. Start building. You actually building spiritual muscle every time you acknowledge the upper fourth. Every time you hold space for somebody. You are building muscle, spiritual muscle, and you become stronger. And you become cause instead of effect of everything that's being pounded and running past your window.
Okay.
Does
Thank
that help?
Yes, very much.
Okay,
Thank you.
good, good.
In the chat window, I put the link in for the meditation, so it's easy to find.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah, and I can connect you with it too. Does anybody else have any sort of questions around sort of what's going on for them, or
Comments?
around travel, what your sort of idea is or thought moving forward, how you think it's going to be? I don't see any raised hands or anything in the chat window.
Can I say something, Alison?
Yes, please go ahead, Susan.
The more people in this time start to travel within, when we are able to go on trips, their experience will be so much richer.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
So
Yes.
if they think they will never travel again, no, that's not true.
Mhm.
We will all travel again, but who are we taking with? We're taking ourselves with, but are we the same person before this started? Or are we allowing this opportunity to go within? So when we do travel, we see things through different eyes.
Different eyes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that.
So we have a question or comment from Laura Lee. Go ahead. Oh, no.
Hi, it's Pat speaking.
Oh,
First of all, am I talking over someone else? I'm
Not at
sorry.
all.
Oh, go right ahead.
Do you want
Thank
to
you.
sit on mute for a second?
Hi, first of all, I wanted to say thank you, Catherine, for explaining the whole process of the universe, because I've been struggling with that piece of it. I don't think I realized that, but right from the beginning of this pandemic, it's dawned on me that the universe has been trying to tell us for a very long time. We have to do a better job. We have to take care of each other. We have to take care of our planet. We have to be kinder. We have to be more compassionate. And it was almost to me like a wake-up call in the respect that it was, okay, well, if you aren't going to get it, I'm going to make you get it. And that's really what opened the door. And it's been an interesting experience for me because my life has had a lot of loss, and I have always managed to get through those losses by keeping extremely busy. And I feel like I've worked in charity work. I feel giving back. That's the thing that's making the difference. So all of a sudden to be sidelined by that busyness has given me time to sit back and really think about, what is it? Do I need to be that busy? And the interesting part is I live right downtown in downtown Toronto. I'm right on Queens Quay. There's beautiful lake. There's a beautiful walkway. People are out every day and they're walking not 6 feet apart necessarily. And I've been doing my best to follow the guidelines. And the interesting thing is when my son passed away a couple of years ago, he's buried in a cemetery very close to a major intersection at Park Lawn and Bloor in Toronto. And the streets are busy and everything is busy. So I've been going there for walks. And the deer have been coming out.
Yes.
The deer I have had, today I had 10 deer. A couple of days ago there was 2. They lie right beside the monument. And I actually have taken comfort and complete joy to have been given that gift. And I'm not trying to make this a big deal, but for me, it's given me inner peace that I didn't have. And so I'm actually somewhat grateful that I've stopped my busyness a bit.
That's incredible,
Good.
Pat.
That's
Thanks,
Wow.
Pat.
Beautiful.
That's incredible. Laura Lee.
Here we go. This is from Laura Lee to everyone. Today I comforted myself by going back and looking at my Londolozi photos. That was our Africa trip, and I remembered the joy and wonder of my trip with you. I hope one day, oh, you're gonna make me cry, to get the chance to travel again with you. Oh, me too.
Sweet. Yeah.
Too. Thank you. Oh, I'm a little verklempt now. Oh, that was very special. It was a very special trip. And our thought was to do it in 2021. We'll see what happens. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to ask or let us know about? No?
I see a lot of tears being wiped.
know.
I
I
feel
love
like
that.
that's
I
awesome.
love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Oh, no, we have one, Cheryl. Let me unmute you, Cheryl. Go for it.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted, this is, I'm new to the group, and I just wanted to say I appreciated getting that invitation, and yeah, it's been nice to connect with some people and hear your thoughts, and yeah, I just
It's nice
wanted,
not to feel alone, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Cheryl. And that's also kind of what we're looking at doing in this new world way of being. We don't know sort of how things are going to pan out. So Deb and I thought, like, why not connect virtually? And this is kind of a plan that we're thinking about. Are we going to, how do we like this format? Is this something that we want to continue every 2 weeks, every month? I'll send you out an email asking for your feedback around that. But I just want to say again how incredibly grateful I think all 4 of us are that you took this opportunity to join in on this kind of new adventure that we're starting, and we don't know what that's going to look like, and I'm learning that that's okay not to know what it's going to look like.
Right.
Alice,
And-
there's a couple more chat messages. I don't know if you want to.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, do you want to read it again?
Oh,
Laura Lee added something to hers.
Oh, let me see what Laura Lee says. Oh, today illness came to my quarantined condo. I saw the pain in my beloved who is suffering, but I don't know what, but we feel trapped. This call has given me a new perspective and comfort.
Awesome. Oh, lovely.
Oh, is it Mo? Oh, I'm so sorry, Laura Lee. I'm so sorry. Oh, we're there for you, man. We're holding space, sending you lots of love and light. And you know what? Maybe you and I can talk offline. I'd love that. Love that. And then Deb said, thank you for allowing us this opportunity to express, acknowledge, and accept our own personal circumstances. Well, you know, hashtag we are all in this together, right?
Right.
So, Deb, I think I'm going to throw it to you because I know
Okay.
you want to close with a message.
Thanks. Yeah, I do. Am I unmuted? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a message here that it was posted on Facebook. It was from the Council of 13 Indigenous Grandmothers. And the message is, as you move through these changing times, be easy on yourself and be easy on one another. You are at the beginning of something new. You are learning a new way of being. You will find that you are working less in the yang modes that you are used to. You will stop working so hard at getting from point A to point B the way you have in the past, but instead will spend more time experiencing yourself in the whole and your place in that. Instead of traveling to a goal out there, you will voyage deeper into yourself. Your mother's grandmother knew how to do this. Your ancestors from long ago knew how to do this. They knew the power of the feminine principle, and because you carry their DNA in your body, this wisdom and this way of being is within you. Call on it. Call it up. Invite your ancestors in. As the yang-based habits and the decaying institutions on our planet begin to crumble, look up. A breeze is stirring. Feel the sun on your wings.
Oh,
So that's from our Indigenous people, from First Nations. And Allison and I have, as a way of looking forward, we are researching into taking a Divine Destination experience to either Montebello, just an hour outside Ottawa, or perhaps back to Muskoka to maybe a deluxe private cottage. But either way, you can be assured that the First Nations wisdom and the wisdom of the higher spirit and the higher consciousness, as we've experienced with Catherine and Susan, will be a part of that experience. We'll stay within our own backyard. We will put our money back into Canada, and we will bring forth more divine experience while we take you there. So on behalf of Allison and myself and Catherine and Susan, we just want to say thank you to all you beautiful souls, beautiful spirits who shared this space together. Yeah. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you and see you, Carol.
I do too.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank
Anna, I
you.
finally saw you, Anna.
I had
Good night,
lots to say,
everyone.
but I couldn't say it tonight.
Uh,
Another time.
we will. Oh, you couldn't get on?
No, it's just
Oh.
that I couldn't get, it's hard to put it all into words.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand. There will be more forums to come. We promise.
Yeah.
I have goosebumps. Stay with us.
Yeah.
We
Good
are
night.
going to make this transition together, people. Gotta fix
How
the
are you
hair.
ladies doing? Are you feeling well?
Yeah.
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
How about you? How about you, ladies?
How about you guys?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, fine.
Awesome. I'm excited about our call.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It
Okay,
is
I broke the cardinal rule.
What'd you do?
I broke down and cut my own bangs.
Oh no, did you pull too much?
No, I had to, so that's why I'm kind of like, oh.
Let's all fix our
great.
hair for a minute. Because once the people come on, we can't fix our hair.
You guys are hilarious.
Of course we can. Why not?
Why not? I like that.
Yeah, why not?
I like your style. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Beers and braziers.
Mm.
Water.
So the world feels different today. Did you guys get any access to sun today?
Yes, I just came back from an hour-long walk.
How did it feel?
Fantastic.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, really amazing. It was like crack cocaine if I ever tried it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the sunlight just going right into, oh, like, you know, it felt like a normal day. Lots of people out.
Really?
Walking. Yeah. Not interacting, but walking.
Wow.
And everybody gets off that when you get off the sidewalk and we walk, like if someone's coming, you get off the sidewalk and walk on the street to keep the 2 meters. So everyone's got the, you know, the protocol, and it's good.
What about Allison? Did you feel the sun?
I did. I went outside to mail some letters.
Mail a lot of stuff. Last time it was stamps. Now it's mailing.
Yep, mailing out stuff that needs to be handled.
I'm finding that handling stuff is coming easier. Like the universe is really being supportive in, you know, whatever needs to happen to move something forward. It feels like there's a bit of a lift, you know, like a bit of a
Oh, that's
wind.
nice.
Yeah, wind beneath my wings. Yeah, it's really good. Since, you know, the hardest part was when I was with you two and bawled my eyes out as I crumbled to my knees, figuratively.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I said to Allison, wow, like your healing powers from both of you was, thank you. I haven't really expressed how grateful I am, but it was magnificent. Thank you.
Awesome. And you feel like you're stabilized?
I do. Well, I was stabilized. I feel like I'm yeah, I feel grounded. I feel like I'm ready to catch any ball and be present. And I'm working I feel like I'm in collaboration. I do not feel alone.
Nice.
I feel like the universe is like, aside from the people that are all in collaboration, I feel like the universe is in collaboration too.
It's fantastic. Fantastic. Did you see different colors today, Susan?
Different colors?
Yeah, of the sun.
Oh, yeah. Did you?
Yeah, I did. I really did. I really did. It felt like
Felt good.
finally.
Yes.
It was it wasn't like, oh, it's spring again. It's not that.
No. Yeah.
No.
There was this really amazing joy that was emanating from the sun. Yeah, lots to talk about today, ladies.
It's going to be a full one.
Yes, it
It's gonna be
is.
a full one.
So I made my optometrist appointment, but I can't go
For
till
next
April.
year?
Yeah. Well, she took it for April 6th, but it will be pushed, I'm sure.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I still went when it was early days, but you know.
Yeah, it was. When I called, that was their last day open.
Oh, I see.
So I guess I called on the Monday after the Friday I was with you, and they said they had made the decision to close.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
A lot of places closed earlier than required.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We closed our yoga studio before we were told to close. But
Did you actually get a letter that said close?
No, I think the premier and the prime minister came on 2 days later or whatever and said,
Close.
yeah, all the non-essential businesses needed to close. Anywhere where people were gathering was an official notice on the Wednesday or something. We closed on the Monday.
Yeah, the Monday afternoon, because other yoga studios and gyms were also closing, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that was it. So
And we flipped the switch on online yoga overnight. Like, it was really quite unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's a great continuity plan with the yoga studio. And I think this call is another amazing continuity plan for Divine.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, Allison, you wanted to say something.
no, and I was going to say that I was talking to my friend Thea in New York, who's going to join this call, and she had some amazing ideas for how to do Divine virtually and still be travel relevant.
What did
Right?
she say?
Hmm?
What did she say? What were her suggestions?
Well, she said, I want to subscribe. I want to pay a monthly fee. I'm in. And she said, you can do it with past trips and have videos and speakers. You can do it in forward trip, trips that you're planning. This is how you can do your Divine by Design Travel Advisory Board to include everybody who's outside of Toronto who wants to be a part of it.
Okay. So where do you want to go? What do you want to do? How do you want to prep?
And I, at this stage, would just do a bit of a vision for how we like the outcome of this call to be, like how, and I don't, it's not scientific or anything. It's more about that we'd like everyone to feel, welcomed, that everyone feels positive about the Divine Destination Collection, that everyone connected to their souls in some way, and have felt a connection with others, those kind of things.
Awesome. Are you going to cry?
I might.
I was doing a little bit of a rehearsal thing and I started to cry.
Did you really?
No.
Are you going to read that little bio of you?
No.
No.
I was sort of reiterating the purpose of the call.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice. Wow. Potency.
Mhm.
Nice.
So,
Susan, do you understand your place on the call?
No. What's my place?
I feel like the concept of holding space is really essential.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that is going to be a very important aspect of connecting.
and
Okay.
you're also going to lead the
Upper fourth.
Meditation.
upper
Yes.
fourth meditation.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine you do.
I think I can do that.
Yeah.
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 So why don't each of us say what we'd really like the outcome of the call to be, or a couple of outcomes?
I want to
Fascinating.
say dissolve fear and anxiety
Mhm.
so that people can be truly just present in what's going on for them right in this minute, right? As opposed to, anyway, I'm over explaining it. That's what I want.
I love that.
Mhm.
It actually, if you don't start with that, people will not be able to hear you. They need to be able to release that,
Mhm.
because they will not be able to hear a word you're saying otherwise, because they'll just have a loop running in their head.
Mhm.
I'm going to go over all the technical inner workings of the Zoom call before we dive in.
Nice.
Oh, super duper, my friend. I like that you've taken control.
Well,
Nice. Time is just a word, really.
Mm. It's a construct, eh?
It is.
Mhm.
When, however, you're creating a container, like an event like this call, there is only so much that can fit into a container of an hour versus one that's maybe 2 hours, let's say.
Mhm.
And it's not about how much more you can talk, it's about how much deeper you can go. So when you and Allison discern how long the next ones are,
Yeah.
keep that to heart, because it's it's whether you want to dig with them or not.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I totally agree.
Fair point. Fair point.
And that's why I think for the first one, because nobody kind of knew, they don't know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
We thought an hour.
Got it. You got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Deb, what do you want the outcome to be?
Well, I do want that people feel they've connected with something inside themselves. And I have no judgment on what that is, but that they have connected with something inside themselves. They feel the community, even though it's not a physical community, we're so good at putting on physical events, that they feel the same connection by coming here, and that they are heartened by the experience here. They're heartened and they're feeling, that the thought of traveling somewhere is possible. That, like, if when they're in fear, the whole thought of it is impossible. So for me, it's hoping that we just crack open that window to allow some light or freshness in to alleviate that shut door, no way, don't know when the world's going to end sort of thing.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Hopeful.
Yeah. Hopeful. Yeah.
Hopeful.
Interesting. What does hopeful mean?
Possible,
Okay.
not impossible.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay. Fascinating. Really fascinating. Is it a false light, or the real light is where I wanted to go?
No, I'm
I
with
won't
you.
do
I'm
it
with
then.
Contain yourself, Catherine.
Yeah. It's important because there's a lot of really old programming associated with relying on government, relying on institutions
Yeah.
that people are holding on to quite tightly.
Mm-hmm.
And they see that as their light. And
Mm-hmm.
that is that false light that's just going to continue perpetuating this and not have this count as much as it can.
Mm-hmm.
So Deb, what you're saying about going in and connecting with something deeper in themselves, that's
Mm-hmm.
the opposite of the false light. But that's the real stuff. And the real stuff can sometimes feel scary. Is anxiety borderline suicidal? Is that what that means?
Not necessarily.
No.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No.
It creates a hormonal imbalance in the body where people can't catch their breath and they are short of breath, and everything that happens is catastrophic, even if it's not.
Mm.
It's just the reality is not. If they sit and they watch the news the whole day, all they're seeing is the catastrophe. They're not seeing that in certain countries the curve is improving. They're not seeing that people are recovering from this. They're just hearing the catastrophic numbers, and it creates a level of anxiety which skews their reality.
I would say it kind of warps it, right? You're looking through the lens of anxiety.
Yeah.
It's a warped view of what's really going on, and it's all fear-based.
Yeah.
And fear becomes paralyzing. It's not suicidal, but you become paralyzed. Right?
So they become the effect of everything.
Yeah.
They can't be cause over everything. Over anything.
It's all reactive.
Totally reactive instead of responsive.
Yeah.
So the three of you, if you went from 0 to 100% anxious, what's your percentage?
Right now?
Yes.
I don't have any anxiety right now.
Great. Deb?
No, I have none.
Okay,
I have
great.
none.
So we don't
I
have any...
haven't had any anxiety for a while.
Perfect. So we don't have to clear anything before the call.
Susan, you?
No.
I knew that.
Never in you guys.
I knew it. And I know Catherine has none.
She doesn't even know what it is.
I
know. I love how she asked that. I love that. So I'm going to grab some more wine.
Being in Manhattan right now they had a hospital ship sail into New York Harbor where all non-COVID patients are going to be housed, like a massive Navy hospital ship.
It's already there.
Yeah. And they're putting a field hospital into Central Park.
It's already up.
And Jacob Javits Center has been turned into a non-COVID.
Wow.
That's their convention center. So like the anxiety in New York is off the charts. And I have such I'm so inspired by the healthcare workers and the police and the fire who are, getting sick left, right, and center. It's an interesting time. An interesting time.
Do you guys think you have it?
Have what?
COVID.
No. I don't.
Interesting.
No, I don't think I do.
And even if I did, it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't have symptoms. It's like.
That's what I mean. What if you have it and you don't even have symptoms?
Okay.
Fascinating, isn't it?
Which is how many people are transmitting it, because everybody thinks that they're,
Yeah. And that comes down to many factors, including, this isn't the only one, but it's including, can you live in harmony with this entity, this thing we call a virus, this thing that is alive and just wants to find a host?
Okay, that's like a Stephen King novel to me.
Very interesting. It can coexist.
We have to find a way to get in harmony with it eventually.
Well, eliminating fear is step one.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is absolutely eliminating.
But I think when we can manage the numbers of people, like this whole self-isolating thing is a good idea because it's going to slow down the number of people who are going to onslaught the healthcare. And that's what we need. We need to get it so that then it becomes something, well, you've got COVID, here you go. You're going to go over here and, you know, we can handle you. I don't think they can't handle 70,000 people in New York City needing that kind of medical care all at once. And the other thing that I find interesting is that not everyone needs that medical care of that, like,
Magnitude.
yeah,